Guess who's back? It's me. I'm the one who's back. Let's get this down a little bit. I feel it's sticking too much on me. I am back, and I've been gone for a long time, and we really won't get into it. We won't say we're sorry, even though we are. We won't dwell on it. I'm back. I don't know for how long. But I'm here right now, and that's all that matters. Let's check got some bugs here. It's not bugs, it's from my CPAP. You know how you have that really cool aunt that, she doesn't come around often, but she's your favorite aunt because she's funny and quirky. And when she does come around, you have a lot of fun. But you can't really depend on her to be there. I'm that aunt, and you guys are the nieces and nephews. And that's just how it's going to be for right now. I'm the cool, quirky aunt, and I'll be there when I can. Whew. Now that we got that out of the way, I want to let you know that me and my comedy life partner, Tina D-Ball, are going on tour. Yep. Chelsea is going on a viral podcast tour. So Tina and I were like, hey, what should we do while she's gone? We got to keep working. So we were like, hey, why don't we just go on tour? And we got our friend Zach to be our tour manager, and he's lined everything up. He's also he's adding more dates. So these are not a comprehensive list, but I'm going to read them here for you in case you don't have the ability to read. October 2nd is where we're starting it at Springfield, Missouri. Then we go to Kansas City, Denver, Nashville, Atlanta, Gainesville, Georgia, Dayton, Kentucky. That's not right. Why does it say that? Dayton, Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio, St. Louis, Missouri, Chicago, Illinois. I think we're missing a few dates on here. But if you go to LibbieHiggins.com, you can get tickets. Or go to TinaDball.com or get tickets. Go to my Instagram. There's a link in there. What's important to know is these are smaller venues because Tina and I we're not going to sell out theaters, okay? And it's too late for us to get into comedy clubs. Apparently, when you decide you're going to go on tour, you have to do that a long time in advance, and we didn't. Because we're ding-dongs. That's so loud. I got to remember to not have that so loud for the people that don't like the loud buttons. But I'm glad to be back. As you notice, I'm not in my natural habitat of the storage unit, and that is because I went there today, and it was approximately 500 billion degrees, just like the surface of the sun, and I thought to myself, I'm not going to sit in here and sweat. So I brought everything here, and here we are. This is my basement. You'll see behind me some very basement-type things. These aren't props. I didn't buy these at a thrift store and thought, I'm just going to put these on the storage things. No. These are real basement things, except for these two things. My friend Jennifer sent me some things to my P.O. box, and I'll put that P.O. box somewhere in the description, maybe. If you want to send something, you don't have to. She makes these candles, and they are beeswax. All natural. No bad flavors to smell. And this is a man. He's a strong man. He's not wearing any clothes, but his arms and his legs have been removed in some sort of violent, I don't know. His head is gone too. by the way. And then this one is a skull that's red. You know I love skeletons. You know I love bone guys. You know I love Miss Crystal, and I love this one. And as I was getting this ready this morning, because she made us probably, I don't know, 30 candles. She wanted me to give them to the rest of the crew. I was looking at this and I'm like, that is a really cool skull. And then I noticed the amount of teeth that this guy has. He's got 4 sets of teeth, dude. He's chewing, bro. This guy's chewing. You give him a steak, he's going to eat right through it. You get him some steel, he's going to eat right through it. Annie's here. Annie, you want to come up here and be on the podcast? You can. That's another great thing about being in the basement. Annie's here. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be totally transparent. There she is. I am thinking about permanently relocating to either this basement or another studio because it's just too difficult to get the podcast out on a weekly basis because of the temperature, because of the heat, because of having to go pee and there's no bathroom. I don't know where I'm going to have a permanent home yet. Why do cats love showing their buttholes? They love showing their buttholes. I think we should do it here in the basement because Annie, because temperature control, because bathroom, because those are the reasons. I was looking into some studios here in Nashville, and man, they're expensive, but it would be nice to just show up, have somebody press record, me say my things, and then me leave. Maybe that's a dream for a different day. Thanks, Jennifer, for the skull with 4 sets of teeth and the man. Annie, you're going to have to look in that camera right there. That's the camera. What else has been going on with me? I've been working and traveling a lot this summer. I've been to Las Vegas. I've been to Denver. I've been to, come on, man, Las Vegas, Denver, LA. We went to Rhode Island. And you might be saying, why'd you go to Rhode Island? And that's because I got to attend Billy Gilman's wedding to his new husband, Anthony. You have to stop, Annie. You can certainly stay here, but you cannot keep rubbing your face on the microphone. Billy Gilman, little old Billy Gilman. The little guy I wasn't going to say in love with because I wasn't in love with him. I loved his music. And I loved him, and now we're friends, and that's weird. Oh, how these things work out. But Billy got married, and him and his husband did get spray tans for the wedding, which I thought was funny that they told me they got spray tans. They're like, we can't even touch each other because we got spray tans today. What a risky move to get a spray tan on the day of your wedding, Billy Gilman. Still drinking Coke Zero. I need to put this where Annie won't spill it. If you're just listening, you should totally come and look so you can see the new setup. It's not the permanent setup. This is the setup for today. God, I wish I need a camera that's just facing on Annie because she looks so cute right now. She's just laying down and wagging her tail. Ann, why are you so dusty? That's the deal. Annie gets up into these boxes and stuff and will sleep and hide. But also she gets dusty and gets her hair everywhere. And she'll also sit at the base of the garage door and just wait for critters to come in. She'll wait for lizards. She'll wait for mice. She'll wait for spiders. She'll wait for anything that can fit under that door that she could annihilate and tear the legs and tail off of, she'll wait. How have I been feeling lately? Honestly, I have been feeling so much better than I have felt in the last year. Consistently moving that body. And when I tell you I should be a professional bodybuilder at this point, I should be, because I'm lifting. And I'm not lifting free weights yet. Well, I'm doing dumbbells, but I'm not like taking the bar and going. Because I'm not brave enough for that. It takes enough bravery just to go in there and do what I'm doing. But I am, I can't believe how strong my arms are. I'm trying to get my legs stronger, but I cannot believe. And everywhere I go, when I see my friends, I'm like, you want to feel my muscles today? And I'll like flex my arms and make them feel my muscle. Because you can't tell. You can't tell when you look at it because you're like, oh, that's a lot of lipedema. But when you feel this muscle and this shoulder, oh my God, you're like, are you Arnold Schwarzenegger? Because you're strong, bro. Are you the Incredible Hulk, dude? Because you're about to bust out of your clothes. And as closely as possible as I can, I am sticking to my pretty basic, bland diet that doesn't get me really inflamed. Chicken, vegetables, salads, protein, high protein, low fat and carb. And it's helping me. I feel better. It's a very slow, grueling process. And I'm going to say when I'm out of town, how do I say this? I don't lose total control of what I'm doing, but my eating isn't as good as I want. I'd say it's 70% good. And I'm not even going to say good. It's 70% on track and the other 30% losing our minds. For instance, when we were in LA, we went to Din Tai Fung. I don't know. I think between LA and Las Vegas, we went 5 times. Which is fun. Just trying to stay consistent so I can be the best version of myself. And I don't know what that is. It's the version that doesn't hurt. Still happily riding my scooter because it makes me happy. And I don't get to miss out on things with my friends that I can't do because I can't walk miles and miles. And 2 people in my life have said, you know, I really like your scooter because you're so happy with it. And I am. I'm happy. We're not stepping on that because you'll turn it off. Get. Annie's trying to step on the record button. Get out of here. How do I turn that down? It's so loud. What is going on here? That beep up button is loud, baby. Beep button is loud, and you can't step on the buttons or you'll turn it off, and then I'll get pissed, yeah. And he's laying on the table, yeah, 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 yeah. Right before I started recording, Maggie came in with Gary and little Kevin. And Gary had dental surgery the other day. He had to get some teeth taken out. He had to get a bone graft. And when I tell you I felt this little guy's pain because his little mouth was so swollen, he was like this. And it was probably the saddest thing I've ever seen in my life. Because Gary should never have a swollen mouth or be in pain or have any kind of irritation happening to him. Yep, I had to get all my teeth taken out. Gary, you didn't. You didn't, Gary. Yes, I did. I had to get every single tooth taken out. I don't know if you guys know this about Gary, but he is a compulsive liar, lies about everything. No, I don't. No, I don't. And if you turn off my thing, I'm going to be very upset. Getting ready for this tour, been doing some new material. I've been writing with a professional comic in New York. Her name's Becky. Get out of here. She's helping me tremendously. We sit on Zoom for an hour. I pay her for an hour of her time. And she is able to take a basic outline or a principle of a joke that I have and really help me put it together in a way that I am not able to do by myself right now. And I'm learning from her by watching her how to be a better joke writer. But man, she has helped me really step my writing game up. So I've got 2 new bits. This cat. I've got 2. I'm going to start recording her just so I can put her in there. I've got 2 new bits. One is about OCD, and the other one I'm not going to say what it's about because it'll give away the whole premise. And one of them I did last night at an open mic for the first time, and man, I was terrified. No, I really was. I was like 4th to go up, and then as I'm sitting there waiting, my heart was beating so hard out of my chest that I thought I was going to have a heart attack. And I didn't think I was going to be okay. And I was like, can anybody else hear my heart beating out of my chest? And I did the whole bit. It's probably maybe 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. That's probably how much it was last night. I did the whole bit almost from memory. I had to look at my notes one time. The thing that really ticks me off, though, is I forgot to turn on my voice notes, so I don't have a record of like when people laughed, when they were supposed to laugh and they did, or when they were supposed to laugh and they didn't, which did happen a couple times. And that helps you. You can go back and listen to that and say, okay, something here doesn't work. Let me go back in and tweak something. Going to another open mic tonight, and I'll try it again and see if I can remember to hit record. But if you come to a show near you this fall, you will hear that new hot banger bit. And if you hear it this fall and then you hear it again in the spring, it might be totally different because that's how long it takes to perfect a joke. Some people can write a joke, bam, it hits right off the bat. It's going to take me a little bit to get this down because I'm using different voices and I'm kind of doing act out. So I want it to be funny, but not like weird. Because I'm that weird aunt. Hey, yo, it's me, the weird aunt. Oh, let's see. What else have I been doing? Or as Theo Von would say, what else is going? Let's see, what else is going on? I've been traveling. I went hiking in Denver with Harold. We went hiking twice. I got some sticks, hiking sticks, and that really stepped up my hiking game. Made me look really cool, if anything. Helped with going up hills and down hills. The third hike we were going to do, and I didn't have internet, so I couldn't check on the trail app to see the intensity of it. And then I get there and the forest ranger, whatever they're called, park ranger. There's Annie looking out the door to try to get something. What do you see, Ann? She is looking. God. See, this is why I need another person here. I get to the trail and the park ranger's like, we got Wi-Fi here if you wanted to check it. She goes, this trail is pretty intense. And I looked and it was like extremely hard. Well, these people come walking down, and Harry's like, hey, how long have you been hiking? And they said 14 hours. They'd been on that trail for 14 hours because they're hiking up to a mountain peak and coming down. Needless to say, I only made it about a fourth of a mile on that because it was straight up. And then I was like, I got to turn around, bro. This ain't the trail for me. I like a flat trail or with a baby incline. Big time hiker now. Look at me. I'm a hiker. Got something cool for you. Check this out. Yeah, of course you won't play. Of course you won't play. Once upon a time I had the voicemail, I would listen to them. Once upon a time I'd open my phone and listen to them again. Voicemail, voicemail, it's time for the voicemail. People were pissed the last time I did a podcast and I didn't play that. So for you, I'm going to play it twice. Once upon a time I had the voicemail, I would listen to them. Once upon a time I'd open my phone and listen to them again. Voicemail, voicemail, it's time for the voicemail. Oh, that is a banger, baby. Woo! Damn. Excuse me. Thought that was a snake over there on the floor. It's a black plastic fork. That's another thing that gets in here. Little tiny snakes that are the size of worms, they get in here. Snakes. All right, let's check out some voicemails. I'm just going to start at the top because I've got so many. Come on.
Hey, honey. I just thought of a funny story to tell you.
Hey, honey.
So, my mom passed away in 2021, and she was a fan of yours, I will tell you that. But when I was a kid, I was probably in my teenage years, to be honest, probably high school. We were in the car driving home from Indianapolis, and it was dark, and she asked me, hey, do you want these Reese's Pieces I've got in my purse? And this was back when they came in those little small tubes, you know, like the little M&Ms came in small tubes too. Yeah. And I was like, sure, I'll take some. So I went ahead and, you know, I started eating some of the Reese's Pieces, and son of a bitch, I'm getting the radio going off from work. Anyway, so I started eating the Reese's Pieces, and as I'm eating them, I get like a terrible taste in my mouth. Absolutely horrible. I swear to God. Oh, son of a bitch. I'm going to call back and start this over.
All right, so that is a 463 number. And then we have another one from the same number, and it says, I'm fucking dead. It won't play, but the transcript is, what the hell? It will not play. I don't know why. Come on, internet. Man, the internet in this house has been acting
Hey, honeys, I feel
crazy.
Stupid that I keep fucking calling. Anyway, I have a funny story I want to tell you.
Oh, he's going to start all the way
my
over.
My mom died in 2021, and she was a fan of yours. I'll let you know that.
Deja vu.
So...
Sorry, honeys.
Anyway, we were driving home from Indianapolis, and it was dark, and she asked me, hey, I've got these Reese's Pieces in my purse. Do you want them? And this was back in the day when those Reese's Pieces came in tubes, like, you know, the little small M&Ms did.
Yeah, well.
I was probably in my teenage years, to be honest. And
You grabbed it?
I was like, yeah, I'll eat them. And I started eating them and, had a few bites. And then I get to this one bite and it tasted absolutely
Tasted
fucking
horrible.
horrible.
Tasted horrible.
It was terrible. I was
Bad.
like, oh my God, what the hell is this? So I spit it out and I look. I bit into a fucking Gas X. Little did I know, my mom didn't tell me that those Reese's Pieces had spilled out into the bottom of her purse. And, well, apparently some Gas X had too. And she just put them back inside the little tube. Didn't even check. And I was like, oh my God, Mom, I just bit into a Gas X. I was like, what the hell? It was like, this is awful. And,
a Gas X.
What did I do? I continued to fucking eat them. I'm like, what is wrong with me? Why did I continue to eat them? Because I bit into a second Gas X. I was telling that story at her funeral, and honestly, it was funny, to be honest, but why I continued to eat them, I don't know. But for the longest time, I could not eat Reese's Pieces, and I still kind of can't. I can't eat them as a regular alone snack. But yeah, I thought you'd get a kick out of that.
Honeys.
Bye, honeys. Love you.
Gas X eater. Hey, honeys, don't eat Gas X's. I think a Gas X is like a little blue pill that has maybe some liquid in it. And I don't know if it's to keep you from farting or if it's to keep you from getting like indigestion. But either way, the bright, the shining cloud, what's the saying? The shining cloud, the cloud shiner. The cloud shiner of this story is that you probably weren't farting. The bad part, of course, is that you now are traumatized and don't want to eat Reese's Pieces. But honestly, are Reese's Pieces that good? For me, it's like a 2-tier candy, a Reese's. I'm not going to go to the store and say, hey, can you point me in the direction of your Reese's Pieces? Because I need some. Now, if my friend says, hey, you want some of these? I'll eat them. But I'm not going to go purposely out and buy them. Are they nostalgic because of the movie E.T.? Yes. But you're not going to see me ever purchasing a bag of Reese's Pieces. And is it Reese's Pieces or Reese's Pieces? Whatever pieces they are, they're not the ones for me. I wish you would have left your name. Let me see if this message will play.
Well, what the hell?
It's just ridiculous. He was having a time. He was getting calls on the radio. Here's Abby from Georgia. Alrighty.
Hey, this is Abby from Georgia. I had a question just regarding how does it feel to be someone that, like, heavily fangirls, like you said, boys night, excuse me. Hell, I can't even remember the boy band now, but I'm trying to think about it. New Kids on the Block, sorry.
Yeah.
But, I mean, now you have your own fans that are kind of, like, fangirling over you. Like, I know I send way too many voicemails, personally. And then I'm constantly, like, commenting or trying to DM. And it's just like, man, I'm fucking weird. But what does it feel like being that type of person and then experiencing your own fandom like that? Anyways, I look forward to hearing from you. And hopefully this will be played on storage soon because I miss seeing your face.
Being played right now.
But yes, bye.
Abby, that's a funny question. Sometimes I will talk about that with Chelsea because I spent a lot of, as you guys know, my youth obsessing over the New Kids on the Block, stalking the new kids, fangirling. And sometimes when I walk on stage and there are people screaming and clapping and I'll say, am I a New Kids on the Block in my head? It's a weird thing to know that, like, the way I feel about the new kids, some people feel about me. That's crazy. That's crazy to me. And let me tell you, if New Kids on the Block had a Google Voice number, I'd be calling it, because I called the one back in the day and it wasn't free. So yeah, Abby, don't feel bad about calling me, because if the New Kids on the Block were doing this right now, I'd be on the phone saying, "Hey Joey, what's up?" My way to talk to Joey now is by talking about him on this podcast or Trailer Tales, hoping that he'll see it and say, "You know what? I want to be friends with her because she seems like a really cool girl." And he has yet to say that. I did talk to Johnny Knight. First of all, John wants to be on this podcast. I don't know if I told you that the last time I was on, but he wants to be on this podcast. And he said, well, we could do it by Zoom. And I don't want to do Zoom podcast because for me, it's not the same. If that's what I have to do to get John on here, I'll do it, but I don't want to. Because I feel like you really lose something when you're doing it over Zoom. It's not the same. You don't have the same chemistry. It feels weird. But let's see about getting Johnny Knight on here in the future. Jonathan R. Knight from New Kids on the Block. And the fact that I'm saying it like it's not a big deal, the fact that I'm saying John Knight could possibly be on this podcast, like if I was 13 years old and I'm standing here as a 50-year-old woman saying, hey, 13-year-old little Libbie, first of all, your hair is cool. Wow, how'd you get the height on that? And then I would say, one day, John Knight will want to be on a podcast you're doing. And then 13-year-old me would say, what's a podcast? And then I'll have to explain to myself, well, it's kind of like a radio show, but it's on your phone. And then the 13-year-old me will say, you mean like a phone? The phone you pick up that's wired into the wall? You listen to radio shows on there? Basically, I'll have to spend the next hour explaining to my younger self what a podcast is. Once she figures out and really realizes what I'm talking about, then I'll say, yeah, you actually text John Knight sometimes. And she'll say, what's text? And then I'll have to go through the whole thing again. Like, okay, you have this phone that you take with you everywhere, and you can send messages. It's kind of like an email. And you'll say, what's an email? Basically, I'll just be giving my younger self a historical technology rundown. And then I'll say, just the important thing to know is stop buying so many Bop magazines. Stop buying so many Tiger Beat magazines, because one day, well, first of all, one day you're going to throw all that stuff away because you have far too much. And then also, you'll have phones and you'll be able to look at pictures on your phones. And then John Knight will want to be on your podcast. And then I'll go, oh my freaking God, who is this freaking idiot from the future? That's not me, because I swear to God, if I look like that lady, I'm going to not be okay. Uh-oh. What would you, if you, at your current age, assuming you're not 13, because you shouldn't be watching this, at your current age, and you go back and talk to your young self, your 13-year-old self, what would you tell them? Would you give them heed? Would you say, heed my warning? Heed my warning, I tell you, 13-year-old me. Don't ever pick up a cigarette. Don't ever drink a Coca-Cola. What would you say? Or would you say things like, I have the lottery numbers for April 7th, 2016. Would you use it to your advantage? I wouldn't. I wouldn't. But yeah, I'd love to know what you would tell your former self. Would you go back and tell him that you're listening to a 50-year-old woman on a podcast in a basement with a sign that says stores that you can barely see because it's so bright down here? I don't know. That's your choice. You're talking to your own damn self.
Hi, Libby. This is Kyra from Happy Valley, Oregon. Just want to
Whoa.
say I love
Happy Valley, Oregon? First of all, Kyra, Oregon is one of the most beautiful places that I've ever seen on this earth. And you live in a place called Happy Valley? Whoa, my mind is blown, brother.
your podcast, and so I wanted to tell you that my husband is an elderly man, and he loves, especially when he gets worked up or ranting about something, to say, and I says to the guy, I says to him, over and over again. He loves to repeat that. It's like his favorite phrase, and he's totally serious. And I cannot help but think of you, and it takes everything in me not to laugh because he's so genuine about it. But anyways, yeah, I just wanted to let you know that, and again, tell you that I just love you so much, and I feel like you're my best friend.
Oh.
I relate to everything you say, and sometimes I have to remind myself that you don't know me because I want to message you all the time and call you all the time.
Oh, God.
And so, yeah, I don't want to be one of those stalker fans, but I totally love you, and thank you for the times that I have messaged you, that you've replied. You're just amazing. Have a good day. Bye.
Kyra, in love with your elderly husband right now. So I says to the guy, I says, hey, that's funny. God, that made me laugh. That's funny. I says to the guy, I says, my new joke that I talk about OCD, I use that voice. Hello, how you doing? And it's funny because last night, the guy that was before me on the open mic, young guy, because they're all young guys, he had a very strong, like, New York accent. And then when I whipped out my accent and I said, I don't know why that voice sounds like him, and everybody laughed because it's the funniest thing that I said all night. And then afterward, I checked in with the guy. I was like, hey, that's pretty funny that you have that accent, and I have been practicing all day with that accent. And we said hi, and then we parted ways. And it's weird being an adult and asking people things like, what's your name? Because even as a kid, when I did that, if I met other little kids, it was really scary to go, hey, what's your name? I don't know if it was scary for other people. It was scary for me. I guess because I always have this deep-rooted fear of rejection. So I guess in my brain, I was like, if I ask what's your name, then they'll say, I don't like you. Don't ask me my name. And as an adult, I guess sometimes I'm scared they're going to say that. Nobody's ever said that. I don't know why I'm scared of that. Not one person ever has ever said, I don't like you. You don't need to know my name. I saw another guy at another open mic the other night, and we were talking. I go, hey, what's your name? You feel so stupid when you say that. You're just talking, yeah, I go to this open mic. There's another open mic. Hey, what's your name? And he said Bob. And I said, I'm Libby. And then I'm standing there like, cool. So I'll see you some other time, brother. I don't know why it's both so funny and terrifying. What's your name? You ever feel stupid when you're asking somebody that as an adult? God. And Paige, little old Paige Jen or Paige Finn, as one of the venues has her listed, Paige Finn. She'll go up to people, like at the wedding, Billy's wedding, she'll go up and say, "Hi, my name's Paige, what's your name?" So friendly, not even scared. Wish I could be more like that. She does it all the time, everywhere we went. If it was like an event where there was people mingling, "Hi, what's your name? My name's Paige." God, being an adult is so weird. What's your name? Okay, let's check this other call. Oh, it's all I can see is it says I have something kind of gross. Do we want it?
Hello. So I have something kind of gross. I don't know if it's going to be too gross or feral. But, you know, as ladies who use tampons, I guess, or people who use tampons, I am worried about toxic shock syndrome. It's just an unnecessary anxiety. Well, anyways, I rarely use tampons. I normally use a Diva cup, whatever. I'm using a tampon. Well, I'm chilling here, and I'm thinking, oh, fuck, did I put this in last night or this morning? So I have a moment where I'm standing at my desk at home, not out in public, but at my desk at home, alone, thankfully, but I immediately just reach down and pull out my tampon.
At your desk?
Thankfully, I'd soon remember after, like, an unnecessary freak out. It was only, like, 3 hours before
I gotta
that
get my
that
glasses
I put it
on
in. So
and go back.
Gross. But anyways, that was my storage for the day, so that feels good.
I gotta go back.
Bye.
She didn't say her name, but I gotta figure out what's going on. All right.
Hello. So I have something kind of gross. I don't know if it's going to be too gross.
I gotta
or
pay
feral.
attention.
But, you know, as ladies who use tampons, I guess, or people who use tampons, I am worried about toxic shock syndrome. It's just an unnecessary anxiety. Well, anyways, I rarely use tampons. I normally use a Diva cup, whatever. I'm using a tampon.
First of all, congratulations on being able to insert a Diva cup. That's a lot of work. I did it before when I was not this large, and man, it was hard trying to get it to go.
I'm chilling here, and I'm thinking, oh, fuck, did I put this in last night or this morning? So I have a moment where I'm standing at my desk at home, not out in public, but at my desk at home, alone, thankfully, but I immediately just reach down and pull out my tampon.
So that's what you said.
Thankfully, I'd soon remember after, like, an unnecessary freak out. It was only, like...
Okay, so that is what you said. What you said, and I just wanted to be clear before I talked anymore about this. You're standing at your desk and you sort of freak out because you're worried about toxic shock syndrome. And then you just pull out your tampon. And I'm not going to judge you, okay? Even though I am going to say it's gross. I'm not going to judge you because, why are people texting me, man? Because I have taken my tampon out in weird spots. And I don't take any more tampons out because I am in menopause. I am officially in menopause. It has been longer than a year. But when I did use tampons, I took them out in weird places. And yeah, it's gross. I'm gross. I'm a gross gal. But I get your anxiety about toxic shock syndrome. I don't know how old you are, but I know that when I was growing up, and my mom told my doctor, who was an elderly man, anywhere from 70 to 90 years old, and his doctor's office was in a house, and now that I'm thinking about it, it's weird. But she told my doctor that I was thinking about wearing tampons, And he was like, oh, you can't wear tampons because you'll get toxic shock syndrome and then you'll die. So ever since I heard that, I'm like, toxic shock? I mean, first of all, calling it toxic shock makes you think your whole body is going to be electrocuted. That's what I thought of as a kid. I thought, my God, if I put a tampon in, my whole body is going to be electrocuted. They really drilled that into you. And also, when you open up the tampon box and they have the little diagram that shows different positions that you can put the tampon in, which I always looked at because I'm like, whoa, there's a drawing of a lady's from the side. But I mean, at the top, it was like, be careful of toxic shock syndrome. You will die. Basically, the doctor, this is how the doctor described TSS to me. He said, you got a tampon in, and it's getting bacteria or whatever it does. Then you take that one out, and as soon as you put the other one in, bam, that's when you get the toxic shock syndrome. And I'm proud to say that I wore tampons for 30 years. Is that the right number? And never got it. Am I saying that it's not real? I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is I think the chances of TSS are slim. And again, I'm not a doctor. And because I'm not a doctor, I want to look up and see what the rate of toxic shock syndrome from tampons is. Rate of toxic shock syndrome from tampons. Because I don't want to spread misinformation. The rate of toxic shock syndrome, or TSS, from tampons is estimated to be around 0.8 to 3.4 cases per 100,000 people in the U.S. This is a significant decrease from the rate in 1980, when there were about 6 cases. Okay, so this was a big deal in the 80s. And I think that's why my elderly doctor was very adamant about not using tampons. But also, my elderly doctor was not one that had to walk around with a big, giant always pad on that was bulky, disgusting, and you're in grade or middle school and you're like, everyone can see my pad. Sometimes I would have rather had toxic shock syndrome than wear a stinky old always pad around middle school, thinking somebody could see it. Now, the reasons why toxic shock syndrome has decreased since the 80s is the changes in tampon material, stricter warning label guides, that's what I'm talking about when you open it up, increased awareness. And if you're a person that uses tampons and you're worried about getting it, here's some ways to reduce it. Change your tampon regularly, at least every 4 hours. Avoid super absorbent tampons. Okay, I don't know what that is. I'm not a medical doctor, but some people got a heavy flow, bro. Okay? Can't just be wearing a little baby one when you got a big flow. Only wrap the tampon when you are, only unwrap it when you're ready to use it. So don't unwrap it. Set it on the counter. Go eat dinner. Go read a book. Go watch Sister Wives. Unwrap it, then use it. And lastly, washing your hands thoroughly before and after inserting the tampon. Now, I was good about washing my hands after. Before, not so much. And if you think you may be experiencing TSS, go to the emergency room. But here are some of the symptoms: sudden high fever, chills, vomiting, rash, headache, seizures. Those symptoms could pretty much be a symptom for a billion other illnesses, and good luck to you. But keep using those tampons. Keep using other things, and hopefully you don't have to use an always pad because they're just disgusting. Because when you're a teenager wearing the biggest pad you've ever seen, that's like that long with wings, oh my God. When they came out with the pads with the wings, it was like a whole new world. The pads with the wings changed periods forever. If you're a dude out there, you don't understand the struggle. When you had a pad on and then your legs would crinkle it up and then a little bit of that period blood would get on the side of your underwear, and you just don't have a pair of underwear that doesn't have a stain in it. But when they got those wings and you could wrap it around the sides and those underpants would stay clean, oh my God. Whoever invented the pad with the wing should get not only a Nobel Peace Prize, but a Grammy, an Oscar, and all the other awards they give out. Such a simple concept, and that just shows you that you can have a simple idea that nobody has ever thought of. Because before that time, nobody thought, hey, why don't we put some little things on the side of this pad that wrap under? Because even before that, in the 70s, 60s, they had pads that didn't have the sticky on them. Somebody had to invent that. They had pads that you had to wear in your underpants that had little hooks on the front and the back, and then you had to wear this little belt. There ain't no way, brother. I wouldn't have survived the 60s and 70s. But then somebody thought in their brain, what if I put a glue-like substance on the underside of a pad? And it just sticks and you don't have to wear the bulky belt anymore. If you think you don't have a good idea, or you think your idea can't change someone's life, go back and tell that to the person that invented the pad with wings. Go back and tell that to the person that invented the pad with the sticky on it. Because they absolutely changed people's lives. There's no way I would have went to middle school wearing a pad that had a belt on it. I would have called in sick every day. God. And why does biology, or I don't know what you believe, God, biology, nature, why does it always give this weird shit to women, dude? Why do we have to deal with periods? I don't have to deal with periods anymore, but what I have to deal with is a hot flash, is a mood swing. I have to deal with bone loss, lean muscle mass loss. And I'm fighting it right now. I'm fighting it, brother. I'm not trying to lose this bone mass, brothers. I got some big bones up in here. But as I found out through my DEXA scan, which I believe I've told you, I don't have big bones. I have regular bone size. So everybody in my family that said, hey, you're big boned, you were wrong. I have a normal sized bone. But yeah, well, it's only 1:30. I was thinking it was like 4. What do I have in store for the rest of my day? Well, I'm going to go do laundry. I'm going to go to the YMCA before all the gym bros get there at 5:30 and take up every machine and sweat everywhere and stare at me like I shouldn't be there. And then I'm going to an open mic. So hope you have a blessed day. If you're not watching Trailer Tales with me and Chelsea and Jeremiah, go watch Trailer Tales. If you're not watching Slop City with me and Tina D-Ball, go watch that. If you want to see me on tour, go to my website, libbiehiggins.com, or my Instagram and come see us on tour. Small venues, intimate venues. Me and Tina are not charging for a meet and greet because we're going to go to the merch stand after and say hi to anyone that wants to say hi. That's what I think about that. Let me just put this hair up in a bun and get it out of the way for the last 2 minutes of this podcast. Annie, do you want to come say goodbye? Anne. Again, thanks for being patient with me. Thanks for us commenting on stuff saying, when's storage coming back? Because like your quirky aunt, sometimes your quirky aunt needs a reminder that people want to see your podcast. Thanks for texting your quirky aunt and be like, hey, we still love you. Where are you? Did you forget about us? Because we've been here waiting for you. I'll be like, no, I'm cool. I'll be there. And here I am. I showed up. Now, will I show up next week? I don't know. Actually, I will because Sis will be in town. And Sis's dog ate her teeth. And I'll let her tell that story. She won't have teeth when she's here, but God love her, bless her heart. Her dog just jumped up on the counter and ate her teeth. So we'll hear all about that on the next storage. And thanks for coming back. Thanks for waiting around. Thanks for saying, where are you? Thanks for checking in on me. Thanks for loving me. Thanks for touching my body. Thanks for touching my body. I want to touch your body. I love you and you love me. Let's go to bed and go to sleep. Don't get toxic shock syndrome, okay? Don't get it. Thanks. Bye.